Hey everyone, I'm Dave and today we're making the world's best mozzarella sticks. Well, at least according to Google. As always on this channel, what we do is we Google search the world's best recipes and then we test whatever Google gives us as the top result and see if it really is the best in the world. Now when I search for world's best mozzarella sticks recipe, I get a result from just food.com, really creative website name. The picture does not look that thrilling, and actually next to it there's several pictures that look more appetizing that if I was doing this for myself I might pick. Like I can see one with panko breadcrumbs, which I know I prefer to normal breadcrumbs. But we have to stay true to the channel, at least for this one, and we're gonna cook the #1 result, which is from food.com, using standard Italian breadcrumbs, which are also delicious, but not quite as good in my opinion. So as far as what we need, we will need these Italian breadcrumbs. We will need some pasta sauce for dipping. I've got this Rouse, which is really overpriced. I'm not sure why we got it, but I used some of it the other day and it is delicious. Some milk, whole milk I'm going with. Oil for frying. Some eggs. I mean, this is gonna be a pretty easy recipe, I think. Some straight up mozzarella cheese. You can use cheese sticks, but we got the big 2-pound brick. We're gonna use a pound of that. Flour, I got my fancy Joanna Gaines flour holder. So fancy. I think that's pretty much it. Is there no salt and pepper? Yeah, it doesn't even have, no, okay, so I will say they recommended Italian style breadcrumbs, which I guess the Italian breadcrumbs would already have things like salt and pepper in it. That's probably why. Let's get a cutting board and we'll get started. Okay, so this recipe, as far as the instructions, is pretty sparse. It doesn't go into a ton of detail. So some of it's gonna come down to just like, you know, experience cooking. But this, again, is not a hard recipe, so we should be able to make it work. It does look like the the edge of my mozzarella got a little bit hard, so I'll cut that off. We only need a ½ pound, actually, and so that's probably right around here. And at this point, basically it says cut it into 3/4 inch stripes. So imagine you're making mozzarella sticks. I guess that's how I'm gonna approach this. First of all, they're too thick. So I'm gonna cut it down the middle here, like so, and hopefully this doesn't like tip over and break or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really, you know, hey, I'm cutting the cheese. We used to say that when we were farting, when we were kids. Yeah, so that looks about the right thickness for a mozzarella stick, and then I think we'll do it lengthwise. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. That's a pretty chunky mozzarella stick. What do you think? Too big? I could probably cut it in half again, but then that's gonna be too small, I feel like. You know, I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna do pretty big, chunky mozzarella sticks. I think that'll be delicious. So we're just gonna cut them all like this, and this is our first step. I mean, this is not a lot harder than just buying the frozen ones, but it is actually quite a bit cheaper. So if you're on a budget, and we'll see if they're even better, they might even be better. I mean, it says they're the world's best, so can you really beat TGI Fridays in the freezer section? I've never really, maybe I've made mozzarella sticks once from scratch. Generally speaking, I do just buy the frozen ones, but these do look good, so we'll see. Okay, so now we got sliced cheese. These will be our very thick, ultra cool mozzarella sticks. You can make these any size, I guess. And we'll set that kind of aside a little bit, and we're gonna do our next step. And our next step is to take 2 eggs, is that right? Yeah, 2 eggs. From chickens. I mean, I guess you could use ostrich eggs, but we're gonna do chicken eggs. What's that trick if you like spin them and they spin non-stop, then they're hard boiled? Is that how it works? Anyways, let's crack these open, put them in a bowl, and definitely get some shell in there. Oops, hold on. Got it. 1, 2. All right, so we got our 2 eggs in there and we're gonna whisk them together. Let me get a whisk. See, I'm hoping that this recipe ends up being like a super short video. And the reason for that is because if it's a super short video, then people might be like, hey, you know what? That seemed so quick and easy that I can actually try it. Okay, and into the egg mixture that I just whisked together, we're gonna add a tablespoon of milk as well. Just a tablespoon, so not much. I don't know why. I don't know, don't ever ask me the purpose, guys. I'm not a professional chef. All right, so let's whisk that together as well. Just combine it, really. Doesn't need to be scrambled eggs, but definitely combined. Now, if you've never fried anything before, fried chicken, fried, you know, pretty much anything you're gonna bread and fry is gonna follow this kind of typical step-by-step thing where you have your eggs, your flour, and your breadcrumbs. So this recipe tells us to take 1 cup of breadcrumbs, put it in a bowl, which we're gonna do like that. And we take a 1/4 cup of flour. Oof. And put it in the first bowl. So that's kind of our 3 dipping stations. Move this out of the way. All right, we've got our 3 dipping stations set up. I've got a pot on the stove, and I'm just gonna throw some of the vegetable oil in it to heat it up. And then I guess I'll get a plate and put it over here. I don't know, I'll put the plate back here, maybe, so you guys can see it. Go forward a little. I don't know, I'm trying to make it so you can see everything. All right, so what it says, you take your mozzarella stick, you dip it in the flour, like so, which didn't really do anything. I guess it gets a little coated. You see it? Here, I'll put it in front of this camera. Then you dip it in the egg, and you're gonna get your fingers a little dirty. Then you put it in the breadcrumbs, and you roll it in there, like so. And then, okay, so this is like double coating it. Back in the eggs, it says, and then back in the breadcrumbs. So that's kinda, that's to make it have like a nice thick coating on it. And then once that's done, we put it on our plate. And so we're just gonna rinse and repeat that step. You know, everyone always says when I watch cooking videos to have a wet hand and a dry hand for this sort of process. So I'm gonna leave this as my dry hand, and this can be my wet hand, and it'll be the one that I actually do the dipping with. And I'll grab, well, I mean, I think that's partially too because of eggs and cross-contamination. You wanna, you know, keep them separated, as it were. I don't know, I want these to be beautiful, but I'm not a very beautiful cook, so that one didn't look as good. Let me try to make this one prettier. Dip it in the flour, dip it in the egg, flip it once. I'm gonna try to, like, my fingers are getting to be like scary looking. I'm gonna do it this way, just like that. Back in the egg, and back in the breadcrumbs. I'm kinda, it says to roll it, so I should just roll it, but also is like ending up, I don't know. What is that? That's like some egg. Did I not mix the egg well enough? It'll be fine. Once we cook it, it'll be fine. So we're just gonna keep doing this. Rinse and repeat while the oil comes up to heat. Yeah, that rhymed. Rinse and repeat while the oil comes up to heat. And we're just gonna ignore my disgusting looking fingers that are getting all these breadcrumbs on them. In there, and here, and back in here. All right, so you guys get the idea at home, right? If you're making these, this makes sense, right? This is how you get all the breading to stick to it. And the breading is really the whole point of the mozzarella stick. So I'm gonna go through this and then we'll be back as soon as I'm done. I don't know, I've got all this like chunking up of the egg. I don't even know, it's kind of gross. I don't even know what's happening. I'm gonna put some more breadcrumbs in here because I'm having trouble, and then I'll put it back in the egg. It's almost like I did too much cheese, which I'll say this, I didn't measure the cheese, so maybe I did do too much cheese, and I don't have enough ingredients to support all the cheese I cut. That might be what's happening here, because I really just don't feel like I have enough ingredients. Or maybe I'm accidentally triple dipping them. That's possible too. It's fine. See, look, now I'm out of egg and milk. I guess really at any point, if you want to keep making it, you could just empty this out. 2 more eggs, a little more milk. But I'll be honest, I'm pretty much out of eggs, so I think this is gonna be enough mozzarella sticks, and then the rest of the pieces I have here, I'll just put in the fridge for the kids to eat when they want like a little cheese stick. So put these away. It says it makes 12 to 16 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe I just was putting too much breadcrumbs or too much egg on them. I'm not sure. It's also possible that I should have mixed the milk into the eggs a little better to make them a little bit less, to make them a little more liquidy, or maybe add some more milk. Anyways, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. It looks good. I'm gonna save this cheese, like I said. I told you guys these mozzarella sticks were gonna be really easy, and I'm not kidding. So they're ready to go. I've got them over next to the stove. I've got the oil heated up. Now we just gotta cook them and enjoy. All right, so we're back over here at the stove, and we're going to cook up the world's best mozzarella sticks. I've got the oil heated. So my oil's at like 285 degrees, 290. I think to bake or to fry these mozzarella sticks, I don't know, let me look what temperature it says. All right, so I Googled it. It's not in the recipe, but Google tells me 350 to 375 degrees should be my oil temp. Let's see where we're at now. Basically at 300. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit. While we wait for this oil to heat up, I'm putting my pasta sauce in a bowl because it's for dipping. So we'll have a nice bowl of pasta sauce for dipping the mozzarella sticks in. Obviously, if you so desire, you could heat up that pasta sauce on the stove or in the microwave or something so that it's a hot sauce that you dip your mozzarella sticks into. All right, so our oil's reading like 325 right now. I don't know if you can see that, 330 in there. So I think it's about time to add the mozzarella sticks to the oil. I'm gonna use some tongs so I don't splash the oil up in my face. And I'm not sure how many I'm gonna do yet at a time, but here's my mozzarella sticks we prepared. And we're just gonna put them in one at a time. Maybe I'll do like 4 at a time, 4 total, just till it's like pretty full. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll do 4. And we're just gonna let that cook. It says to let it cook for 1 minute and then flip. So technically, I guess the recipe is saying to not use this much oil because it says cook it for 1 minute and then flip it and then cook it on the other side for 1 minute. But since I have so much oil and it's fully submersed, I guess we can just leave it like this for 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. Let's see. We'll just watch it and see it as it turns brown. We'll know it's ready. So these have been going for a minute here. They're kind of stuck together. Oops. And the cheese is kind of coming out of them. So I'm going to say they're probably done. It says when the cheese starts to leak, they're done. And as you can see, the cheese is definitely starting to leak. That looks really good though, huh? So I'm gonna pull them out and I'm actually gonna put them on a paper towel on a plate over here. Just pull these out one at a time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I may have left them a little long. I don't think it's supposed to leak out that much. But let's add our other 4 in here as well to get those cooked. Super fast recipe, guys. This is kind of the whole point, is the fast snack that you can make without spending much money and without putting too much effort in. So while that cooks, let me show you a close-up of these ones that are done. Look at that. How delicious does that look? I mean, look at that, guys. That looks like a really tasty, I'm like super tempted to just eat it now. I kind of like that I did such a poor job breading it and it's like kind of crumbling off. I think that makes it look even more betterer. You know, it gives it the homemade vibe. Now you put it onto a paper towel because there's a bunch of grease and you want the grease to kind of leak off and the paper towel absorbs it. So that's why you do that. See, it does look like they're kind of sticking together again. There, spread them out earlier this time. All right, so look, the cheese is leaking out again, guys. So I'm gonna say these are pretty much done. Not much, it doesn't take much to cook these. Actually, you can flip them over if you want. Let me see. Okay, 1, 2, that one's like gooey. It's oozing out, guys, oozing out. All right, took those 4 off. Let me turn off this oil. And again, here's the other 4 all ready to go. So I'm gonna get these set up on a plate. All right, so I was attempting to plate these like a professional, but this is kind of the best I've got, this little setup here. So we're gonna take one of these really leaky ones that's got the cheese coming out and we're gonna dip it in the sauce. We're gonna test it out and see if these really are the world's best mozzarella sticks. Down the hatch. Let me try another bite. I totally just double dipped. Don't tell Tina. That's a pretty good mozzarella stick. So I recently had the, what is it, Archer Farms, which I think is Target, frozen mozzarella sticks, and they were nowhere near this good. These are definitely better than the frozen ones. I feel like they could be just like a tiny bit more salty. I think adding a little salt to the breadcrumb mixture probably would have done them a favor. They're very good though. I would say these are like a 7 out of 10. They're not the best mozzarella sticks. I've had better ones at restaurants. I can't remember. I went to one restaurant where they had a big, thick mozzarella stick, maybe like Maggiano's, and that was a little better. But this is excellent. Look at how gooey and yummy that looks. Check this out, ready? Gotta do the cheese pull. How satisfying. I gotta get out of the shot so you can see it. Look at that satisfying cheese pull. So definitely an amazing mozzarella stick, guys. Try it out at home. Let me know what you think in the comments and we'll see you next time.